I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
All right, everybody. Whoops Podcast back in the mix. Dog Days of Summer. We're here. We're ripping it. We got Ryan is very polite. Lynch.
Thank you.
In the stew doing it. We have a very special guest today. Very hilarious New York comedian, Drescher. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Good to see you.
Yep, you too.
We've been out here in these streets doing this comedy. Derek is part of what I consider to be sort of the new emerging class of successful comics who are hustling and trying to get it done.
Yeah.
Finding some success, doing all the shit everybody's doing.
Yeah.
And you're about that life, dude.
I am. I'm out there. I'm too old, though.
I wonder about that.
Too fucking old, man.
Because in comedy, you're sort of only as old as how many years you've been doing
That's
comedy,
what they say.
Which is interesting.
So
I think it's
I am
true.
a baby in comedy.
I mean, what's a baby? 5 years? Longer?
I'm about 7 now.
Okay, so that's not even like, which is crazy because like that is a baby in some respects, but also not.
Yeah.
Like you're like, that's a tough year, I would argue too, the year 7.
Yeah, dude. I question everything.
Yeah.
Because I started late. I started at like, I was like 35, 36 when I started. Mm-hmm. And obviously, because I guess we'll get it. I was a drug addict and in jail, in and out of jail for most of my adult life. But yeah, I'm at a point now where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing, dude? What's next? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you work so hard and you treat it like a full-time job, where you probably have some other job at some point, at least early in the early years, and then you get to this year 7 and you've done so much. And like sometimes, and I'm not speaking for you, but sometimes that year, it's sort of like hard to specifically say what you've done.
Yeah.
You've done so much. You've spent thousands of hours doing all the stuff.
Yeah.
And you're right there. But like, it's still, and then you're like, what am I doing?
You're in quicksand, or you're like walking through mud.
Exactly. But
all good.
They say that if you get through that 7th year, you never look back. That's what they say.
Really?
That's what they say. Jay Leno famously said that.
Fuck that guy.
You make it 7 full years, bro. So, but yeah, so uniquely, I mean, I started pretty young. Lynch, what, like
a year ago?
Yeah, so mid-20s. I started when I was like 22.
Yeah.
So I had the luxury of being able to piss off like all my time. I could go sit around comedy. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
I didn't need money. I'm 22. Who fuck cares? I could get laid because I was young still.
Right.
So like, no one cares that I don't have any money. They don't know about money yet. These are city girls. I'm a creative. That's cool. They're not looking to sell
creative
money.
and handsome.
Yeah,
right?
Thank you. But dude, so, it was easier, it seems. So I always wonder for a guy like you who started when he was 35, is there ever moments where you're like, oh fuck, like I can't keep up or something? Like, I don't know. Is that a thing?
Not that, no. Like I feel like I can out hustle like any youngster. That's just how I feel. And I'm at a point in my life now where like, I don't know, like I'm like, I kind of just want to play softball on Sunday. I don't want to be out till 3 a.m. on Saturday night.
Can you do both of those things?
I've been doing it. Yeah. And I'll continue to complain and be gay sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'll probably just keep fucking trucking along. You know what I mean? It's like, the thing with me is it's like, after everything I put myself through in my life, and that's where I'm also at in my life too, where it's like, I don't even look at what anybody else did. It's like, I put the onus on me, hold myself accountable. I'm like, why would you get through all this to like start at the bottom and something else? You know what I mean? But like, just 7 years has gone by quick and I have done some things.
Yeah, you're doing shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. It's cool to see like people start to do shit. You know what I mean? Because it's like the new guys are always coming and they're not stopping. Nope. So it's like, don't resist. Because a lot of the time too, like the quote newer generation are doing the stuff the way that people are going to be doing it. So you better learn how they're doing it. Or
dude, and that was just like the same thing of like getting back into life. Like back in the day, you need a job, you like go to a construction site, you like shake the foreman's hand, you look him in the eyeballs. He's like, all right, bring your tools tomorrow.
Right.
Now, you got to fucking apply online, and then you have like an interview over the phone, and then you have an interview in Zoom, and then maybe you get the one in person. It's a whole new world. And you have to, the world's not going to change for you. You got to change for the world. Sorry for starting off so serious. My bad, guys.
No, this is good. This is what we do here.
It's not that serious.
Okay, good. Good.
Well, no, dude, I always enjoyed chatting with you. You're a funny guy. You also like wear your heart on your sleeve.
Appreciate it.
Which is like funny to me. Like if you're having a bad day, like I can tell.
Yeah.
But you're not a dick about it. Like some people when they're have a bad day, they're like a dick.
They're horrible to be around.
You're just like, fuck, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, I love this fucking guy. One time I remember Derek was about to go on a date, and he's like, man, I'm about to go on a date. He's like, I wish I was doing spots instead. I was like, oh no, he's got the bug.
Yeah.
This guy's fucked.
I remember that. Now that was a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
Now that woman is my fucking girlfriend.
Wow, look at that.
That's a good date.
It's a good thing you went on the date,
She's
dude.
driving me fucking nuts, dude. Fucking frauds, bro.
Is she supportive of the hustle?
Oh yeah, I mean she is an artist herself. Like I hate calling myself an artist too, but she does a lot of one woman shows. She's like been to
cool.
fringe festivals and all that stuff, so she understands
Fire.
the grind. Like if we're eating dinner and fucking someone's like, hey, we got $100 paid spot, like I can go.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, she's great with that stuff.
And she does not do stand up though?
She has done stand up. I think she should stick to one woman shows. That's just that's just me. But yeah, she's done it. Yeah. She's dipped her toe.
Shots fired. That's
Very polite of you.
I feel like I should not do stand up sometimes. You know what I mean?
Well, dude, the thing that makes it hard to stop doing it is sometimes it's the only thing you can do. Because a lot of this other stuff is like harder. There's like people who are in control of whether or not you can do it. Yeah. Stand up, you just go do it.
Oh yeah, like even if I was not getting spots, like if I literally wanted to just go to a mic, I could still get up 7 times a day.
Dude, and
nobody could stop me.
Well, and you too. I mean, you're at the point now, it seems like if you didn't have a spot at a club or whatever, like people would throw you on.
Yeah.
Like you're cooking. So that's all good shit, dude. Yeah, it's a wacky thing. But anyway, I want to talk more about what you were talking about before. I'm sure every single person brings this up on pods.
Sure.
About your devious past.
Yeah. checkered history.
Hopefully we'll do a more, a unique version of this conversation so that you won't feel like you're bashing your head against the wall. But, you said already, you spent time in jail, all kinds of shit. I don't know how much you and I have ever specifically talked about all this shit. So I'm just curious. How do you end up on that path?
I was an emotional kid. And, I just didn't know how, like, I don't know, like, like if you're a kid, like, and say you're like playing baseball and they're like, Giulio, you're not going to get in until like the 4th inning today. And like most kids would be like, all right, coach. Like I didn't know how to be like, all right. Like I would freak the fuck out. Like it's not like I learned that from my father or anything like that, or because both my parents are very hardworking. I mean, my mom was like a fiery individual, but she wasn't like that. Like I didn't have the ability to like process stuff for some reason. I don't know why.
Interesting. And were your parents like they were both working? And
no, they both worked like a couple jobs, blue collar people.
Oh yeah.
And so I'd spend the days when I wasn't at school with my grandmother. And then she died, and dude, I just went fucking bananas.
Wow.
Like I started doing like petty crimes, stealing stuff, and like stealing cars. And then I ended up in juvie.
For stealing cars?
Yeah, like dude, I stole this car, and dude, I was like 13. Right, so I could like barely see over the wheel.
Right, you definitely didn't have a license.
No license. Guy just left his keys in the car, and I was like, "Fuck it." And
for no reason.
No reason.
Weren't gonna sell it.
I thought maybe there was money in it, possibly, but I was gonna try to get somewhere and then go through it and just see. But the cops fucking come behind me, whoop, whoop, turn on the lights, and like the cops are behind me. And I'm like using my directionals. Like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And then they get me down this like dead end street and they block it off. And I just like took it to the next level. I fucking started like flooring it towards like and braking before I hit their cars.
Oh shit.
And there's all kinds of fluid and shit coming out from like underneath the fucking hood. and I ended up hitting one of the police with the car. He, like,
Oh, shit.
flipped up over,
Oh, fuck.
and then the car just died, wouldn't work anymore. They Slim Jim'd the door, and then they beat the shit out of me, and then they held me there, and my mom came, and then she beat the shit out of me, and then they sent me different time, different time. You know what I mean? We're literally going back 30 years.
Yeah.
I'm 43 now, so yeah, 30.
This is in East New York in Brooklyn?
This is in Brooklyn, and and then I went to juvie, which is like gladiator school. It's just
Did you have to?
yeah.
Okay. Your
Yeah.
parents weren't like, you're going to juvie.
No. So, dude, I'm in court, right? I'm in court. They had me like in the holding cell. They let my father come talk to me. And I'm like, I knew I was going somewhere. And I was like, Pop, I was like, can you bring me clothes wherever I'm going? And my father goes, son, they're going to have like a jumpsuit for you. Like you're not going to need clothes. And he was right. He was right.
What a cinematic moment. Dude.
Yeah.
Hey, Pop.
Hey, Pop.
Think I could get some clothes?
Exactly.
Son, where you're going, you don't need no clothes.
It would have been funny if we were like, you're going to be in a dress.
Oh, my
You're
God.
having to dress. But yeah, I remember that first place I get to, the cops bring me after they remanded me there. And like this lady comes out and she's like, all right, take the cuffs off him. I'm like, I have them now. So I was like, oh, this lady's like nice. She's like good people.
Right.
And we're like walking down this long ass corridor and she's like, do you know how to take care of yourself? I was like, I'm like 13. She's like, well, you better figure it out. Because the boys here really know how to take care of themselves. And I was
Oh,
like,
Jesus.
I knew what she meant already. So from like 13 to 18, it was just in and out of juvie. And basically what's happening is I'm just becoming used to this revolving door.
Life in the system.
Life in the system.
Do you ever think about what like, if you hadn't gotten in the car that one time, if your life would have been different, or you just figure you would have done something like that?
I would have done
eventually?
something else. I mean, I couldn't stop. Like, they'd let me out. I'd be on probation. I'd literally make it like 3 weeks.
Would you try to not fuck up? Or were you just kind of like, eh?
It was just, I was just like spinning out of control. It was nuts, and it stayed like that until I was like 33.
And yeah, and it was just like a sort of negative doom cycle that you could not get out of at that point.
It was so bad.
So your grandma like passing away, did that turn into a scenario where like at that age you might have been sort of supervised because she would have been there, or you're now at the age where you can no longer be supervised because you're sort of like an adolescent and do whatever you want?
I mean, I was already starting to like have these impulses anyway.
You're right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it was bound. It was gonna start happening. Like, even if she would have, say she didn't die, like say she just stayed in the coma or whatever, you know, it would have been. It was still like something. I'm not saying like I was like born defective. Like, I just didn't have that skill.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this skill to be able to handle life on life's terms. Like, I didn't start to learn it until I was like in my mid-30s. Like, even right after I got clean. Like, dude, I did so much cognitive behavioral therapy, which is crazy. Do you know what this is, CBT? Cognitive behavioral
Not
therapy?
really, no.
Excuse me. So basically, you're in a class with a bunch of other dudes who are like fuck ups also. Oh, that's yours. Yeah, you can have it if you want. We're like been in and out of prison, drug addicts, homeless. Like, this is just the dregs of humanity. Like, you know what I mean? And you're in there with those people. You are one of them. And then you have to do your testimony when you go. So you basically, like, you're bearing your soul to these men you don't even know, right? And you're like, you know, I'm telling them about my grandma. I'm telling them, you know, how hard my parents worked and I still couldn't get it together. Like, this isn't their fault. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about, like, you know, I've been fighting since I'm 13 and all this shit. And then they give you feedback. And you're expecting, you know, them to be like, oh, it's going to be all right, brother. And they're just like, nah, you're full of shit. You're lying.
Wow.
Yeah, like, even if you weren't.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So what's the point of the exercise?
Do it again next week.
So the whole time, and then you just are like, all right, I'm going to say the same thing because I told you the truth.
Yeah,
like,
but
what's
it's
the
like,
point of it?
They're just like, are you just talking? Or is there like is there real feeling?
Right.
behind this? You know, are you just saying what you need to say, what you think we need to hear?
Interesting.
So,
Well, with the grandma stuff though,
Yeah.
seems like it's real. Was that like something you eventually said? And the first time you're like, yo, I'm about that life. I don't give a fuck.
well, the whole grandma thing, they got me on it because they were just like, dude, like, let your grandmother rest in peace. They were like, what the fuck, bro? Like, you're putting all this on her. It's not her. Yeah, she had diabetes. Maybe she shouldn't have had so much sugar, but it's not fucking her fault.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? So that made me be like, oh, I gotta fucking. They're right. Like, why am I like continuing to like drag my poor grandmother, like drag her into this? Like I keep from like 12 to 33 to keep sitting down in front of like social workers and them being like, what's going on? And me being like, my grandma died. It's like, all right, bro, you're fucking 30. You know, what the fuck? And a lot of this one program I was in, like the time this time when I actually got clean for real, because I'd relapsed so many times.
And what drugs are we talking here?
Heroin. And I was a criminal before drugs. So
how does that? Well, I want to learn about that progression at some point too. But quick question before we move on. So you're saying that these guys are kind of like tough love therapy. It's sounding like
pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
This
shit.
You're the only one who can change your outcome. Like you can either do it or you can keep making excuses.
Right.
Type shit. Right. Previously in the prison experience or whatever, were you dealing with more compassionate social workers at some point?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah, no. There is no compassion when you're incarcerated. Dude, you can't, a lot of places, you can't like show a weakness. Like you shouldn't even let anybody know you have children or a girlfriend or people on the outside that care about you. Like, because they will use it against you. Like there's people like in the justice system, there's people who just made a mistake and are caught up in this revolving door. And then there's
bad motherfuckers.
There's sociopaths in there who like should be in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot more of the people who just fucked up or trying to make a buck or whatever. But the ones who really do belong there, who like don't care about other human beings, you know what I mean? You don't want them knowing anything about you.
That's gave me the chills, dude.
Yeah. I want to be like, man, think about my grandma. And then all of a sudden it'd be like 2 a.m. I'd be in my cell and someone would yell, yeah, that's why your grandma sucked my dick. Like some shit like that, you know? And then you got to do something.
Right.
You know?
Right. If you don't, dude, that's wild. That's like such a, like.
You got to get it shaken.
Right. Like, like there's no societal, it's like the wild. Like if you back down, suddenly you're a bitch.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild. Okay. So are there things about juvie that are like worse than normal jail, like normal prison, or like inevitably?
Yeah, I saw more homosexual activity in juvie.
Interesting.
Which is weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of dudes being gay with each other and shit.
On some like tough guy shit, or
no, they was just being straight up.
They
gay.
were just like
yeah, no tough. There wasn't nothing tough about it. They were being like sensual.
Interesting.
How long was your first stint in juvie?
A year.
It was a full year?
Yeah. 3 years I did in juvie from the time I was 13 to 18. So there's, believe it or not, it was very violent. And like I walked into a bunch of sexual activities also that I wish I could unsee. Right.
Hey,
And the staff in the juvenile facilities were they were just not good human beings.
Did any of them like do like abusive shit?
Oh yeah.
Like sexually too?
That's what I heard. I never saw any of it myself, but I heard that. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Okay, but when you're 13, like, are you interacting with the 18-year-olds at this point?
Yes. Yeah. Some of them are in
like,
the same blocks as us. Yeah. These guys look like full-grown men.
And they just kick the shit out of you, and like that's it.
Yeah.
How many fights did you have to get in prison?
Every day.
Every day you fighting.
Every day. Not as an adult.
Okay.
As a juvenile.
Every single day you're fist fighting. And they just like let you do it.
Yeah, look, they'll break it up eventually.
So at this point, like you feel probably pretty confident that if shit were to go down in comedy, that you could take most of these people.
Yeah, I do and I don't. I know that I could. I know that I could control a situation more with my voice and an aggressive posture.
Interesting.
I just don't know what I'm gonna do fighting though, bro. Like, I'm older. Like, I got bad elbows.
You know how to do it.
I got a bad knee. Yeah, but it's just there's no reason for it in comedy.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna stick my thumb into someone's eyeball.
Well, dude,
Because
there's people that know that and therefore they push it.
Oh, that I agree with.
There's a lot of
100%.
like pussy
Yeah.
fucking people. Not to sound like a tough guy, I'm not, but I also don't start shit.
Yeah.
Like people who talk mad shit, they're smarmy and like they need to get cracked in the face.
Yeah.
They clearly never have, which is why I often look to people like you and hope that you'll dig into your bag of skills.
Well, I have definitely checked quite a few people. It hasn't had to come to
Right. They back down
well,
immediately. probably.
immediately.
Yo, I'm sorry.
Let's check.
Dude, I'm
That's
sorry.
like a size up.
I'm so sorry.
So yeah, so I actually got into an argument with a comedian on Sunday, and we approached each other, and he put his hand on me, and I just let him have it. I go, get your fucking hand on me. I will break your fucking jaw. You better get good at Twitter because you're not going to be able to tell jokes into a microphone.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, do you want to do something? I was like, we could go right now. And he was like, no, I'm sorry. And it's not even like I get off on that or anything like that, but it's like,
It's a fair thing to do there, though, dude.
I don't really feel like I'm a scary dude. Like, I've lost way more fights than I've been in. The only reason why I've been able to learn how to protect myself is because the amount of times I got
had
punched
to.
in the head. You know what I mean?
And when I said people like you, I didn't mean people
Yeah.
who went to jail. I mean guys who fought.
Yeah. No, I
Learned
get
a
what
lot
you're
of-
saying. I get what you're saying 100%. But even that in comedy could give you a bad name.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those things where the guy who deserved it, suddenly you forget about that and you just think about the guy who's fighting
Right.
and act like he's some
It's
shit
mostly younger guys, though.
that talk mad shit.
Yeah. It's mostly younger guys that are either looking to make you laugh or they like think this is how to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
When it's like in the hang with people you know, it's different. Like you really just can't come in talking shit.
Yeah.
You agree with that or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. You look like a bozo.
You look like a bozo, and like eventually I see a lot of those guys realize and they like improve over time, and then they come around a few years later and then they're normal, and that's fine. The thing that I don't like is the person who's been around and has developed this like way about them where they're like doing some shit and acting like they're not.
Yeah.
And like the only people who are able to like call them on it are dudes who like have fought.
Right.
And like I have plenty of friends like that who like a dude will act some way and then they'll be like,
All right,
yo,
let's
you want to
go.
go outside right now?
Yeah.
And then they're like, whoa, what do you mean?
Yeah,
dude?
I know.
What
This
are you
is
talking
comedy,
about?
dude.
I didn't mean it like
Yeah,
that.
I
okay?
hate that.
If I said anything that offended you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, bro, I'm a 43-year-old man who pays his own rent. I have a full-time job. I'm a drug counselor. Like, I don't understand what you're doing or what you're trying to do, but like, yeah, I might beat the shit out of you. You know, I might,
Totally.
I don't like being that way because that's like a regression
Right.
for me
Right.
to get there. I will also say this, like I got in a fight out in front of a club like a couple years ago. I got the better of the guy, but dude, the next week I was just like, Jesus Christ, like I'm literally too old for this shit. Like I was in my head, like I was like, damn, if that happens again, if I have a gun the next time, I'm just gonna shoot the guy. And I'm like, whoa,
Right.
you know what I mean?
And I can imagine too, it just like feels, you like get transported back to this much worse time in your life.
Oh yeah, dude, it makes my kidneys hurt.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it gives me like PTSD and shit.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what was the longest sort of like bid? Is that the terminology?
Yeah, 2 years. Altogether, I did like a little over 8.
Okay.
Three as a child and then 5 as an adult.
And then in and out, how many times as an adult?
Oh, dude, I've been arrested over 30 times.
But usually they just let you out and then
Sometimes,
it gets
yeah, you
dropped?
get ROR'd for the small stuff.
What's
but
that?
Release on your own recognizance, where they're like trusting you to go to court. But then, sometimes I've also, when I had some money, I'd be able to set bail, make my bail.
Okay.
And then even in between jail, it was like rehabs, fucking homeless shelters, fucking detoxes, even a couple stops on the fucking flight deck, like mental health, like behavioral health places. So I've probably been in over like 40 institutions.
Damn. If the thing also, people who've been in the system, like you're theoretically able to have a conversation using terminology where like I won't know anything that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen people have that kind of conversation and I'm like, ROR, DOI,
Yeah,
DJP. Like, what are they talking about? You know what I mean? No, it's like this whole other world. And, you know, they famously say that like once you're in it, it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure, do you feel proud of the fact that you've like overcome all that shit?
Yeah, I'm proud. The only thing I get down on myself about now, and it's a stupid thing, is that like, to be honest, I'm like, oh man, if I would have been doing good and I started comedy younger, but it's like, what would I have talked about? Because all I talk about now is heroin and prison and robbery. Like that's what I talk about on stage. And like, you know, I've sort of found my way with it a little bit. It can be a tough thing to talk about to audiences, especially if you're like hosting.
Right. No, totally.
At like 7 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Totally.
You know,
Totally.
you know, I do my best to not pander. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, for where I'm at now, 30, like when I just was like decided to like turn my life around at 33, it's like, yeah, I'm coming from behind, but no one's passing me. I'm doing well. You know, I'm saving money. I'm working full time. I'm chasing this dream, but like, I feel like I just lost a lot of time. It's like, especially physically. Like I want to go play basketball.
Yeah.
Like I want to, you know,
Yeah.
I want to be able to run the bases quick in my fucking slow pitch softball league. You know, and not worry about like straining my quad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Does it
I do.
sound lame?
As I sit here with a pillow on my lower back, trying to maintain my posture.
This guy's like, what the fuck are these dudes talking about? How old are you?
28.
20. Oh, dude, you look fucking great for 28.
Thank you.
If you said 22, I would have believed them.
Yeah, you look good.
Yeah.
Thank
Fresh
you.
That's
lunch,
great.
shit.
When you're 40, you're going to look still in your late 20s.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I always think about that too. I'm like, oh man, like I want to be like as agile as possible. And I get that like it's a different conversation because a lot of your youth, you were sort of like locked up.
I fucking threw it away, dude. Threw it away.
Well, dude, I was having this conversation with somebody. Oh, there, go ahead.
I'm starting to think I might be homosexual.
Go on.
Because I just spent like some time with my pops, right? And my pops is like in his 70s, and yeah, I'm 43, and you know he was an athlete when I was young, and you know I've been really reconnecting with my family.
Nice.
And I'm just like sitting like watching TV with him. I'm like, I want to play catch with my dad.
Dude, it's nice.
So I'm like, I'm 40, dude. You know what I mean? And my dad's like 75, and I'm just like, you got a glove or anything laying around?
I don't know. You know,
He's like, no. Why would I do that? I'm like, oh, I don't know. You know, you just gloves, bats. You don't have anything. He's like, I'm 75. He's like, I can't hold the glass sometimes. The arthritis in my hands is so bad, you know. But yeah, dude, it was just a fucking weird moment for me. I can't get that time back. Yes. But I'm not gonna let that like fuck me up in the present. There's people who become ashamed of that shit, and dude, shame is the worst thing. Shame is horrible. If you're really, really feeling shame, you don't like accept it and move on, it will take you down to like the darkest fucking places.
Totally.
Yeah.
Fully agree.
Yeah.
Bro, that story was a very nice story, by the way. It does not make you some sort of, you know, figurative sexuality.
I'm not bringing the heat, dude. I'm not bringing the funny.
Bringing the 95-degree heat. No, dude, but he actually has gloves. You go out in the backyard, you just start sobbing in the middle.
Yeah. So what I did, this is even worse, dude.
Dude, it's all right. Let it out, bro.
I ordered him a glove.
Wow.
On Amazon.
It's very cute, dude.
And like, the box comes. He's like, "What is that?" I was like, "Oh, this is for you." And he's like, "I didn't order anything." And he like opens it, and he's like, "You got this for me?" I was like, "Yeah, you know, just in case, you know, my nephew, my brother's son. I'm like, in case, you know, DJ's down here, and you want to toss the ball with him." Which is totally not true. It's just like for me.
Oh, dude.
And then he's like looking at it, he's like, this is actually a good glove. He's like, this
Yes.
is He's like,
put it in the oven.
Yeah, he's like, I'll break this thing. I'll have this broken in a week, you know. Nice. Rub it down with some oil.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I actually got one in my trunk, Dad.
Well, when I go back down again, I'll bring mine.
Are they still in the city?
No. So what ended up happening with my parents, this is, they both worked multiple jobs. Then they both became bus drivers.
Oh, nice.
So now they're retired from the MTA, and they moved down to South Carolina.
Nice.
So it's dope. It's a dope getaway to go down there.
How difficult so how swift was the losing contact with family, and how difficult was it to rekindle the bond?
My father has always been like, look, I know you're a good guy. He's got some issues. He's like, I had my issues too when I was younger. My father was married before. I have like a whole another sister that I didn't really get to see and stuff like that. And then, he had a problem with alcohol. So he's like, I get what you're going through. You'll get through it. My mother, a lot more like me, hard on the sleeve, still offended by some things I did when I was younger. You know what I mean? And we had a couple of real tough conversations after I got clean. I was just like, yo, like, I love you. I know you love me. But, like, if we can't get past this, it's like I just won't talk to you anymore. And we've worked it out. We've worked it out. And then, like, my brother died and shit. So, like, we've just gotten closer, but not, like, in an unhealthy way of, like, fucking leaning on each other. My brother's death anniversary was yesterday. That motherfucker.
Pour some out for him.
Yeah, he's the man. Dude, I just remember he was so wild. Like, MySpace back in the day. He's living with my mother. We're both living with my mother. He, like, meets this chick on MySpace from Ohio. And he tells her he has his own place. And, like, he's got all this shit going for him. And she runs away from home. And comes to New York. Knocks on my mother's door with her bags. My mother opens the door. She's like, who are you?
Oh, my God.
And then she, the girl's like, oh, Darren told me I could come stay here. This is his place. And then she's like, all right, stay right here, honey. Close the door. And she's like, Darren, you have your own place for this?
How old is he here?
Oh, dude, they were like both like 18, 19 years old. And dude, I'm like just fucking dying laughing. And then my mother opens the door again. She's like, honey, are you thirsty? You hungry? She's like, yeah, I am. She's like, all right, stay right here. You're not coming in this house.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. She's like, stay right here. And then she like brings the phone out to the girl and she's like, call your family and tell them what happened. She's like, if you need me to talk to them, I will. She's like, but you're not coming in here. And, she's like, we'll go from there. And dude, she made like my brother sit out in the hall with her. Like it was like a 13-hour drive from Ohio or some shit.
Jesus.
And then her father came with her uncle. And I told my brother, I'm like, dude, walk her out to the car. Like walk her out there. He's like, you gonna have my back if something happens? I was like, not on this one, chief. Not on this one. If you get your fucking ass beat, you fucking deserve it. He was a wild boy.
So what happened?
How'd he die?
No. With the walking her out.
Oh, he didn't walk her out. He walked her to the door.
Okay.
I was like, sorry, I'm sorry. And just fucking shut the door. Dude, and her father, I don't know, actually, I don't know if it was her father or uncle. One of those dudes, the look. I was like, ooh. And I was just like, dude, what the fuck are you thinking? He's like, I didn't think she'd come, dude. I didn't fucking know.
Younger brother?
Younger. He was I know it's fucked up what he did, but it's hilarious.
Dude, it's hilarious. Did he even get to like kiss her?
Maybe in the hall.
I hope so.
Yeah, or like in the stairwell.
Best kiss he ever had.
But my mom was hilarious too. We're like, you want food? You thirsty? You want some food? All right, I'll get it. You're not coming in here. It was wild.
How soon after he said you can come to my place did she come?
Dude, I think it was like a couple of days. Wow. I think she like fucking hopped the train.
Did she look how she presented on MySpace?
I mean, they both looked what they should have looked like to get in situations like white trash. That's what they look like. Dude, like that girl was pregnant within a couple months of that. Not by my brother.
No, I know what you mean. Oh, actually?
I mean, she had to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
She had to be.
Yes, she was heading that direction.
Dude, yeah, but me and my brother ended up getting bad on heroin too, so we used to fucking...
Were you guys doing it together?
We would do it together.
Jesus.
And we would steal together and all that. Dude, I remember this one time where fucking we just scored, right? We're driving And
Is that an exciting moment?
yeah, because if you start getting sick and then like you're getting it, like it's right there, like it kind of alleviates it for a second.
How quickly does one start to get sick?
It depends on how much you're doing it, but usually like within, I'd say like between 4 and 12 hours after your last.
You start to get
dose.
sick?
Yeah, you're like what happens, what used to happen with me is I would yawn and my eyes would tear. And I'd be like,
Oh, it's coming.
yeah. And then I would start to dry heave.
You need to inject heroin.
Well, I could have sniffed it too, but what a waste.
Right. It's
I always
better.
say if you didn't inject it, you never truly experienced. That's my big beef with Gio.
With Gio?
My co-host. Yeah.
Oh,
He's never injected. I was like, you don't know what it was like. You have no idea. But my brother, I remember one time, dude, we're driving. And, dude, we would argue because opiates make you, like, moody. You get, like, a fucking, what's that shit with your attitude just fluctuates.
Yeah,
So they call it
bipolar,
mood swings.
mood swings.
Mood swings. So, like, we're both, like, got our fucking spikes loaded up. And we got to, like, find a safe place to shoot up. And we're, like, arguing. And I hit a bump, dude. And my needle, my works go flying. And I'm like, what the fuck? I can't find it. I'm looking. And we're yelling at each other. And he's like, Dick, look. And I looked down and it was just sticking in my leg. Dude.
Oh,
It like
shit.
went up. And then
You're like,
he
thank
was
God.
so sharp. I was like, sweet. I mean, I didn't plunge there. I still put it in my vein. But
Jesus.
I had a lot of good times with him. He was the man. He got shot. He got shot twice.
Doing what?
Someone tried to rob him. And he...
On the street?
Yeah, like they put a gun to him, made him get in his car, and they wanted the car.
Would that have like happened regardless of him doing drugs? And
Yeah, I mean they were watching him spend money in the club.
got it.
They were watching him spend money in the club, and then
So who did it first? Who did drugs first?
we were both fucking around with pills, and then I remember. And then heroin was in the mix because that's what happens. People go from pills to
Right,
to
because
heroin.
it's less expensive or easier
Yeah,
to get.
it's way less expensive and
is
can
that-
be easier to get.
So what does that thought process look like though? You're like, fuck, I really want to do a pill, but I can't find one. I'll just do heroin this one time and then I'll do pills again. Or do you just not give a fuck? Like, do you?
That's basically what you tell yourself. I mean, the disease of addiction is so insidious that like conversations like that are like normal. Like, I'm just doing heroin the one time just because I can't get any pills and I don't want to be sick.
And that's how most people start doing heroin.
That's yeah. Or they can't get pills anymore at all. Like, because the doctors got hip to this shit. Because at one time I had like 5 prescriptions with 5 different doctors
For
and then-
pills.
and for pills, and then they changed the whole system. I remember I went to go see this doctor one time. He's like, so how's everything going? Do you have you use your whole prescription? I'm like, I think I got a few left. You know, bullshitting him. He's like, in your pain? I was like, oh, my knee still bothers me sometimes when I'm doing it. I just want the pills. Just give me the script so I can get the fuck out of here. And he goes, yeah, anything else you want to tell me? Or I'm like, no, everything's good, man. You know, fucking. And he goes, you have 5 different scripts out with 5 doctors. And he goes, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you leave here. And he's like, and I'm not going to call the police if you never contact me again. And then I didn't even go to any more of the doctors after that. I just...
Started buying pills.
So I'm sick. Me and my brother lived in the same building. He lived on the 2nd floor. I lived on the 3rd floor. And he came up, and I was just like sick as fuck. And he's like, damn, I don't want to see you like this. He's like, I have something. It's not pills, though. And I was like, what is it, heroin? And he didn't say anything. I was like, oh. I was like, dude, yeah, I can't. I'm hurting.
Can't take it anymore.
But he got clean before I did. He ended up getting clean before I did. And he got shot. He fucking... It's kind of gangster what he did. So the way he explained it to me is they pull a gun on him when he's getting into his car. They get in the car. And then they tell him they want the car. And he's like, yeah, no, not happening. And then they're like, go right here. And he's like, oh, you want me to go down by the river? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, no. He's like, just shoot me. He's like, I'm not just giving you my car. He's like, I'm not letting you shoot me and throw me in the river either. He's like, you just shoot me right here. And then the kid had the gun. He hit my brother with the gun. And my brother's like, oh, you're not going to shoot me? He takes the keys out and just gets out of the car and starts starts walking, and the guy runs around, points the gun at him, and then they start wrestling with the gun. He shoots my brother in the stomach, and then my brother continues to wrestle with him, and he shoots him again. And my brother said he's just like looking up at, he sees the moon. And everybody was there. It was like some chick was there too with them. She's like crying. He's like, everybody runs off. And my brother said he put his hands on his stomach. He's like, I felt my guts. He's like, I felt my intestines. So he's like, I got up. He's like, I held my intestines in. He's like, and I started driving to the hospital. And he got to like within a block of the hospital and he crashed. But
damn,
there's this thing.
John Wayne fucking shit.
Crazy
That's
shit, right,
crazy.
dude?
Jesus.
So there's these things called shot spotters, where like a microphone will pick up a gunshot and it'll send a fucking alarm like it'll into the precinct. So they're like, the cops are driving around looking for like, you know, any weird activity, and they see my brother after he crashed, he tried to get out and walk and he just passed out. They see him like on the street and they get him into the hospital. But dude, as far as you could have hit the hospital with a rock. That's how close he got to it. And then he's in a coma. And I remember like I get the call, and my mom called me, and I just fucking run. I get right over there, and he's in a coma for a couple days, and then he wakes up, and I'm like, brother, what happened? He's like, oh, they shot me, brother. And I was like, I know, but why? Why did they shoot you? And he goes, they tried to rob me. And I go, what they tried to take? And he goes, the Rogue. And he passed back out.
Legend. Is this after being clean? Are you guys clean at this
Yeah,
point?
dude. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
And this is in my head, like so much shit went through my head. I'm like, he had full coverage. Like what?
Yeah.
What the?
Dude, yeah, of course.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Well, so obviously I'm curious about like the heroin situation. So like it's cheap, but you need to do it so often that it ends up becoming expensive.
Yeah. Like at one point, I had like a 4 bundle a day habit, and a bundle could cost and a bundle is 10 bags. Depending on where you get them, a bundle could be anywhere from $40 to $150.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, you 1 a day, you said?
At one point I had a 4 day.
Oh God.
40 bags.
You turn this just a little.
Yeah.
So that's so then you're getting into expensive
Yeah, just
territory.
if you're turning to him, just.
It turns into that. And are heroin dealers like the people you're describing who like are sociopaths, or are they just like trying to make money?
I had one heroin dealer who was like a good dude. He was like, you want to go fishing with me? I was like, no, dude. I was like, I don't
do
want to go
not.
fishing with you. Yeah, I have green money, you have brown powder. That's like as far as this goes. And he was like, oh man. All right. But yeah, he was like a good dude.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was wild. But yeah, everybody else, I mean, even now you see guys like they know that their drugs have fucking fentanyl in it and they still sell
They
them.
don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't care.
So when you're like say, you're doing heroin, you get busted somehow doing whatever, and you end up in jail again. Do you have to detox at that
Yeah.
point? So how many times did you go through that?
A lot, too many times. It's the worst place to detox.
It can kill you, right?
Heroin withdrawal, no. I think alcohol withdrawal can kill you, and I think withdrawal from benzos, alcohol and benzos you could like go into a seizure, and anything can happen.
And you can have a heart attack and stuff, right?
I feel like if you die during heroin withdrawal, I would imagine that you have pre-existing health issues.
Got it.
Right? But you feel like you're gonna die.
How bad is it?
It's bad, dude.
It's the worst feeling imaginable.
You don't sleep, and dude, this is what happened to me. If I would fall asleep for 2 minutes while I was kicking, I would have a dream that I was getting heroin.
Fuck.
And then I'd wake up like, oh. And you do like sheet karate, which means that like it's different for everybody, but my arms and legs would move involuntarily.
Just like
Yeah, it'd be
tossing
like,
and turning,
yes,
sheet,
yes.
sweating.
Dry heaving, puking till you have nothing left in you, shitting your brains out. And the thing too is like the heroin constipates you. It like pulls all the moisture out of your feces, and you just have this big plug in you. And then once you get sick, that thing is coming out.
Fuck.
And then it's gonna wreck your asshole.
Jesus.
It's gonna fucking tear that booty hole up.
Damn. So are you ever like trying to convince the person who works there to just give you a little heroin?
Where?
Like in the detox place? Are you like, come on, like
I've seen people
I
like
know a
that.
guy.
But usually what happens is somebody brings it in.
to jail?
People people like, I've seen methadone in prison. I've seen crack in prison. I've seen heroin in prison, Suboxone in prison. But even in detox, like a guy comes in to withdraw from heroin and he's not puking. You're like, he's got something on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And do they know that? The people working there?
Yeah. They end
They're
up
just like,
usually
"All right,
kicking
whatever."
those guys out.
And you're just in your cell.
And detox is usually like a big dorm or like a hospital room.
It's like a fucking war hospital.
So, dude, jail, you're not just in your cell when you first get there. You're in a bullpen, which is like anywhere from like 10 to 40 dudes.
Will people fuck with you while you're sleeping?
Hell yeah.
Oh my God.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God.
And dude, like, and if you're sick, like you'll get beat on. If you're like puking
give a
and like
fuck.
shitting, yeah, no one cares.
People, like,
Stepping
jerk off
on you,
and
it's
shit. They don't care.
disgusting, dude.
Jesus. So, trying to think what is it. I have so many good questions. It's too bad that we got to wrap this up soon because this is fascinating. I'm sorry
No.
that people are constantly
I'll come back
asking
on.
about this shit. But yeah, I would definitely love to hear more about it. But dude, so when you finally have kicked it, like, have you taken methadone to like prevent what you're describing? Is that why people take it?
So, yeah, some people are able to live a good life on methadone. Some people are able to live a good life on Suboxone.
But they got to go be around bums every morning to pick it up, right? Or no?
I feel like at a certain point you'd get to a doctor that would... You pick the Suboxone up at the pharmacy. Methadone programs, you usually drink it there. And then once they start to trust you, you get a lockbox and you bring it
So
home.
that's temporary.
But yeah, methadone clinics are disgusting places.
I'm sorry because I know these people are down and out and they don't deserve it, but like
It's
just
horrible.
clearly like a pretty sad
Dude,
scene.
everybody's just trading drugs. And like, dude, people who take like Suboxone and Xanax at the same time or methadone and Xanax at the same time, it's like, it's worse than heroin. Like a lot of those people go to sleep and don't wake up. It's bad.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But Suboxone, I tried. I tried, and all I would do is I would trade it for heroin. That's it.
But now you haven't done it for a long time, obviously.
No Suboxone, no methadone.
For how long?
August 28th will be 10 years.
Okay.
Wow.
I have two. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have two quick questions
Go ahead.
because I know we got to wrap it up because you got to go. But question number one. So I've been hearing this discussion a lot, and I'm curious to hear what you say about it. People be like, "How much money to go be in jail for a year?"
Right.
Or like, how much money would that require? And I wonder if people understand what would be happening by being in jail when they answer this question.
So how much does it cost to keep somebody in there?
No. How much would I have to pay LYNCH, for example, to go to the prison that you're describing, where you start in the bullpen, you then end up in the cell? Like, is there an amount of money that's like knowing what you know?
Right.
And let's say you never had been to prison, but you somehow are reincarnated. Right. If someone asked you that question, would there be a number, or would you be like, fuck no?
If someone was like, I'll give you $1 million to go bid for a year, I would do it.
Is it
because I know how to move.
You know how to do it.
Yeah.
What if you didn't? Like, do you think that person who was taking $1 million would not be taking enough money?
Dude, I watch those shows on Netflix. I'm like, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
Like those 60 Days In guys. Like, if I didn't know how to do it, no, I wouldn't. I'm sure there's people who would, who like I don't know, daredevil motherfuckers who are like, oh yeah, I could survive in prison for a year.
Right.
Knowing what I know personally, I think it would be a horrible thing to do. Like I don't. Would you do that? Someone's like, I'll give you $1 million, you go to prison for a year, but like Sing Sing Attica.
Well, the interesting thing is that Giulio posing the question is to somebody that would probably be like me, that hasn't experienced it, that doesn't know much about it. And I would probably say, before hearing from you today, somewhere in that, I would probably say less than $1 million. I probably would have said like 800,000. But that's, I don't know what my number would be after hearing your experience and knowing that I'm not built for that.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I wasn't built for it. That's why I was like, I need to stop.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
I couldn't, dude. The last time I was incarcerated, bro, like once they got me out of the bullpen and into like segregated, where they were gonna figure out where they were gonna put me, I couldn't stomach it. I was like, this is horrible. And then even like once they placed me and I was walking into my unit, I was like, I don't even know anybody anymore. All these these young kids. I like went to my cell. I remember I ripped a T-shirt in half and I just wrapped it around my knuckles. Because you never know, you punch somebody and their teeth cuts your knuckle. They got Hep C. You got it now.
yeah.
And I just sat there because I was pretty sure. Because when I walked in, they were like, "Who the fuck is this
People
motherfucker?"
get diseases in prison, right?
For sure. I sat there. No one ever came in. Thank God. But yeah, I don't know, dude. That's a crazy question. It's a wild one.
Kinda.
Would you do it?
No, fuck no. Dude, I don't think I would. Like, it's not the type of place where you can be like, listen, man, like, let's just talk this out. Like, that's not some shit. It doesn't sound like. Like, some guy's going to come in your fucking room being like, I'm going to fight you, and you can't, like, talk your way out of it.
I'm taking all your belongings.
I'm taking all your shit. There's nothing you can do. Like, I don't. And people joke. They're like, oh, I'd find a boyfriend right away. No. Okay, have fun with that, dude. You belong to some guy in jail.
I remember this one moment like so vividly. It was one of my first times being in, and I was just like, I think I was like 18 or 19. Now I'm like in with the grown men, and I was already scared as fuck, even though I was prepared from juvie. But I remember this guy's on the phone, and he's like, nah, fuck that. Fuck that. Nah, I don't give a fuck. I ain't never coming home. And it sent a chill down my spine to like hear this guy be like, yeah, I'm never going to see the light of day again. And I don't care about anybody or anything. That's what I heard. Like, I will kill someone if they get in my way. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
And you're like you're in these places that you were just talking about, Atticus and thing type of places.
Oh, I've been in so many different, they move you regularly. Yeah.
Is there, all right, I guess this is the last one. Is there like a worst one that you can think of like prisons?
Dude, Rikers might be the worst. It's disgusting. I mean, you're dying to go upstate.
Interesting.
When you get there, you're ready to cop out.
It's bad.
You're like, 2 years, get me the fuck out of here.
And is like a proper prison, Rikers?
No, Rikers is a jail.
So Rikers is like the first place you go, and then they send you somewhere else. Got it.
Yeah.
So Rikers is terrible.
Disgusting.
Jesus.
If they have clothes for you, dude, even if they do, like, I remember they gave me like a size 48 boxers one day. I was like, what the fuck?
It's like a gown.
Am I gonna fucking do with this? It was like a fucking, what are those jumpsuits that fucking just go down to the
like capris or something?
It was like you ever see the dudes they'll wear like these jumpsuits that just like
the
go
onesie
down?
thing.
Yeah, like a onesie, dude.
Yeah.
Shit like went up to my fucking nipples, bro. It was insane. Yeah. Your jumpsuit's like a 4X. Like it's if they have stuff for you. And then you get like one towel, dude. The laundry is never like working, and then your towels just air drying. They turn yellow. They like cut your skin. They get so sharp. It's disgusting.
Jesus, dude.
The fucking toilets ain't working.
Hey.
It's
brutal.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. Well,
are we done?
Yeah, yeah. We don't. I don't have time to ask more of the stuff I want to.
I hope it was good enough.
Dude, this is great.
Insightful.
Thanks for sharing.
Nice to meet you.
I'm sure you've told a lot of these stories in the past, so appreciate you humoring us and our audience. Congrats on fucking being sober and living a completely normal life that does not indicate any of these past tips.
I know.
You share them because it's good fodder for comedy and it's your life experience and stuff, but like you'd never meet Derek and be like, oh, this guy did heroin for 10 years. You know what I mean? For real. So pretty cool.
Well, that's going to end soon because I'm going to start talking about brunch.
There we go.
And airplanes.
Like, yo, this guy got soft. Fuck him. But anyway, where can people find you and stuff?
Follow me at Derek Drescher. If you like listening to the podcast and you want to listen to a podcast by Jailbirds and Junkies, listen to On the Gate podcast. Subscribe if you like. And yeah, that's it.
Good shit, bro. Thanks for pulling up.
Thank you.